Hey everybody, this is Brian Fleischman. How's it going? Hope you're ready to program Simon in AppLab. So if you haven't made an account on code.org, that's pretty easy. You go to code.org, sign up with your email, and find the AppLab feature inside code.org and catch back up with us here. It's a really great free tool. If you're already all signed up and ready to go, then we can just continue. Okay, so this video will be simply about the user interface. And in subsequent videos, we'll cover the programming in a step-by-step basis, and I'll use bottom-up design, and hopefully that will make sense to us as we come along. Okay, so let's just kind of focus on the user, the user interface here. So with this screen, okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller so I can see the bottom of the phone here. Okay. So I'm going to go to the Design tab, and what I'm going to do, you can fast forward this if you kind of get bored with the timing of it. I'm going to start by putting 4 buttons on the screen that are going to be my Simon buttons. Now might be a good time to actually kind of show you what Simon is. Simon is a game. Let's take a look here. If you are not familiar, skip this part if you are already familiar. Simon is a game where, I'm going to see if I can just find an image of it. Okay, so it's a game with 4 sort of touch pads that light up in a sequence. Now the game starts out by just showing you one light, and then you have to copy that. So say this yellow one lighted up, then I would have to copy that by hitting yellow. Then it would build off that sequence and do then yellow green, and then I'd have to copy yellow green, and then it would do yellow green blue or whatever its sequence was, and I'd have to copy that. So what we're trying to do is build a game in AppLab that simulates that. I'm not going to worry about making it look like this game because that's probably just a little bit too much UI for me, for my liking. I'm just going to make 4 buttons that are kind of big and flat like this. Okay, so I believe the width of this screen is 320. So I'm going to make the width of this exactly half the width of the screen. So how about 320 cut in half is 160. And then I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. I'm going to call this one will be, the ID will be the red button, I think. Let's make it at least look like this. So it's green, then red, then yellow, then blue. So I'll make this the green button then. Green button. Okay, so I'm going to focus on this one button, and if you want to kind of do the other buttons at your own pace, then feel free. I'll go ahead and go through them in the video, but feel free to kind of skip ahead or whatever if you don't want to sit with me through the design process. Okay, so this is a solely UI video. Okay, so let's find a text color green. I know a little bit about hex coloring, so I know that RGB values are and hex values are very similar. So I'm going to make the text. Oh, actually, well, I don't want text color. I actually don't even want any text in here, so that's cool. So I'm going to erase that. I'm going to make the background color of this guy fully green. Now you can use the color swatch if you want to, but I happen to know the hex value of green. RGB. Oops. There you go. So now I have a really, really bright green button. Okay. I don't want it quite so bright, so I'm actually going to back it off to how about 9.9 here. Okay. So now it's kind of dark green, and then when it gets lit up, it'll be like that, bright green. If it's gonna. Oops. So when it's not lit up, it'll be kind of like this, and when it is lit up, it'll be like this. Okay, so I'm going to use 009900 for the hex color. All right, and there we go. Okay, so there's my green button. I'm going to do the same pretty quickly with the rest of these buttons, and I want this one to be red button. I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot because this is kind of just repeating the process from the other ones. How about let's make this one 990000. I'm kind of a nerd and know a little bit about those hex colors, so I don't want that. And I do want the width to be 160, just like the other one. And its height, I kind of like this height. What was the height here? 130, so I'm going to do that as well. And then I need to place it kind of right up against that. There we go. This button will be here. And I think this one was the yellow button. No text, please. I'm going to make the ID yellow button. I am going a little bit fast just because it's a repetitive process. And I know a little bit about yellow. I think it goes like this. Yeah, so that's kind of like the dark yellow. My height will be, is it 160 or was it 130? Width, 160, that's right. And then this last guy will be the blue button. Okay, let's change its height. It'll be 130. Width will be 160. background color for blue is 000099. So no text, please. So there you go. All right, so there are my 4 buttons. That's what's going to light up, and it'll be fun. Let's go ahead and change the background. What I'm going to like to do is I'm actually going to bring these guys down just a little bit because I'm actually going to have a Simon logo at the top. Bring these guys down just a little bit so they're kind of in the middle of the game. Okay, so how about this? I'm going to go ahead and find the screen in my little drop down over here. Find screen 1, and I'm going to set its background to fully black. So there we go. Now it's starting to look kind of nice. What else do I want? I need some messages to display down here, like a text box. Text area would be great. And I think that's just slightly too big. But it's pretty close. So I'm going to just drag it to the width of the screen, bring it down just a little bit. And then I'm also going to set its background to be black. So the background color, I'm just going to black it out. There we go. And the font size or the text color will be white. So if I can get some sample text in there, like hello, test. Okay, so that's too small. So I'm going to change the size, the font size, to something more reasonable, and I want the text to be aligned in the center. And let's just kind of see, that looks good. Okay, nice and big, and that looks kind of exciting. So now that I got the text area, I'm just going to change this. I don't like having to type underscores. I've always been kind of not a fan of those. I know they're important, but one of my weaknesses. I'm going to change it to text box. It'll be my only one. And there we go. So we have, maybe it would be nice to get like a Simon logo at the top. Okay, so maybe some people who are doing App Lab are still kind of new to App Lab. Actually, you know what? Do you see the bottom of this text box? It's kind of bothering me. So I can actually just change it so it's like, change the height. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now we're getting better. Okay. Images in App Lab are kind of like a unique thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go snap an image from Simon. Sorry, Simon people. I'm sure you'll forgive me, or write me a note if you really don't want me to use your logo. I don't think you guys are really out there combing the internet for plagiarism, but let's see. So I'm going to view this image of Simon, and what I can do is I'm just going to snap like a little screen snap. If you're on a Mac, like I am, Command-Shift-4 will bring up this little target thing, and then you can drag this target over what you're interested in. And I will also take the restricted trademark, which is kind of ironic, and I just snapped a picture of the Simon. And what I can do now, that's saved to my documents or my downloads, one of the two, I can't remember, is I can now take that off of my computer and upload it into my App Lab. Okay, so what I can do is take this image and I can just kind of place it, and then if you want to, like right now it just looks like this, right? It looks ridiculous. But if we go into the image and we just choose, you can upload a file. Okay, so if you know where it went on your computer, let's see, I think mine went to my desktop. Screenshot, is that the one? That's got to be it. It was today, right? There it is. Wow, it looks great. So it's a little pixelated. So I uploaded it. It'll take a second, and then you can choose it, and then you can bring it in and look at that. Doesn't it look awesome? So Simon, this is great. The user interface is pretty much ready to go. One thing that we will need later is a button down here that comes up when you want to start the game over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that button right now, and I'm going to hide it, but it'll look like, something like this, and it'll essentially have the same exact. I'll try tonight. Okay. Thank you for the messages, everybody. I'm going to make this button fully black as well. Zero it out. It's really helpful to learn a little bit about hex. So if you want to learn about hex color, go look it up, and it's actually super intuitive once you get the hang of it. Okay, so what do I want on the button? Right now, how about this? I guess the button will say play again. And I will center the text and make the font size approximately as big as the other one. So now it's there. Now it's covering the text box completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this box that says hidden. So it looks kind of sketchy right now, but when you run the app, it actually, you can't see it, right? It only shows up when you write code that reveals the button, and we'll do that in another video, okay? So I guess right now, this looks pretty good. We can erase the text and modify the text using code. But for now, this looks pretty good for our UI, right? So this is kind of how I like to design apps. I'll do the user interface first, and then kind of manipulate it with code. So I like this for a UI. I'm going to leave it at that and call this good for a video. We will come back and maybe edit the UI if we don't like it, or if we want to add features to it, we can do that too. There might be another screen that we add later, like a high scores screen. But let's leave it at this for now, and we'll pick it up in the next video and start to program this bad boy. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave me a note or a comment if you want me to make anything more clear. I appreciate you guys coming to check it out, and talk to you guys in the near future. See ya in video 2.